Hello, my name's Kirsty and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to stitch up this really pretty blossom design. We're doing it today on a 4-inch hoop, but the original pattern is designed for an 8-inch hoop. I've just used a part of the design today to make a smaller one. So here's my 4-inch hoop and my piece of fabric. I'm cutting out a section of my blossom design. To transfer this, I'll be using carbon paper, using a pencil to trace around it. Securing my hoop around the design. For the petals of the cherry blossoms, we'll be using a cast-on stitch. So I'm coming through the fabric at one point of the line, pulling my needle through the end of that line and then back through where we came out. Now we want to cast on to the needle, so making a loop around our finger and then transferring the loop onto the needle. Doing that again, looping it around, placing it on the needle, pulling tight. Doing this for a total of 12 cast-on stitches. Once that's done, I want to pull my needle through the fabric and all those cast-on stitches, pulling it tight, readjusting it and making it lay nice. And then lastly, pulling my needle through the fabric to finish the stitch. I'm going to do that again with this next line, coming up through the fabric. Back down and across. And then cast on 12 times. Pulling it through. Readjusting and pulling my needles back through the fabric to finish it off. And there's our 2 petals. The next one I'm doing will consist of 3 petals going through the fabric, then back through, cast on. You don't have to do it 12 times, you can do it 11 or 8, it really depends on how you see it, but I just kept it simple and did 12 for all of them. Coming up horizontally now. For the circle motif, we'll be working 5 petals in total to create a full cherry blossom. So this can be a little tedious to fit 5 in such a small space, but just catch a little bit of fabric and squeeze it in. Simple single petal. this is what they're looking like so far. You want to repeat these steps for all of these. It looks a bit like popcorn at this point, but the next step is to add some pink colour into these cherry blossoms. I'm using the full 6 strands of pink coming up and then catching a stitch in the petal, pulling my needle through, and then back up and doing this for all of the petals. I actually separated all of these strands to give it a bit more texture. Just repeating this for all of the petals basically, and I'm doing half and half, so I'm going to do half in this colour, in this shade of pink, and then the other half I will be doing in the lighter shade of pink. So here's the first shade, and then the second one's all filled out. So this is the cherry blossoms completed. All that's left to do for these is to add the stamens coming through the middle, wrapping my thread around my needle 3 times and then pulling it back through to make a French knot. Here I'm using 3 strands of yellow thread. Great, now moving on to the stems. I'll be using an outline stitch for this, and I'm using again 3 strands of a brown thread. I'm filling out the little leaf shapes with just a simple satin stitch using 3 strands of a green thread. This adds a little bit of colour and a little bit of greenery, just a little touch, but I think it adds a little bit to the design. Last thing to do, I'm just adding some French knots in white around the whole design just to give it a bit more detail and like there's petals falling off. And it's finished. I think these two look so pretty together. I love how it's turned out. Again, if you want this pattern or want to give it a try, it'll be linked in my Etsy shop so you can pick it up there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon on this channel. Okay, bye bye.